restaurants in Houston.
Witnesses in those restaurants put Reid behind bars. He served 7 years of a 20-year sentence. He was paroled in 1990. Can Nashville detectives tie him to the murders of 7 young people at fast food restaurants in their city? In the interrogation room, detectives can't get straight answers.
He was overly polite, and he seemed to be very much fixated on whether we would like him or not like him.
And you shouldn't be friends. And if I'm the killer and I'm the murderer and I'm the one who's going to be executed, I guess you really shouldn't be my friend either, because it's not right. I'm just trying to say that I just don't want you to be biased. I'm still a human being.
You said if I am the killer. What exactly does that mean? I mean, what?
Well, maybe I can rephrase it another way. Let's say that let's say I am the killer. I don't want you to just hate me. And listen, I still want you to be able to socialize. No, sir. No, sir.
I think to a degree you're messing with us.
No, sir. I'm not trying to play I wish you wouldn't have said that, because I don't want to tarnish our relationship.
Very bizarre individual. One of the most bizarre I've ever come across.
I've been in this business for 20 years. There are a few times where the hair on the back of your neck would raise, and that's what I got from this guy. This guy, to me, gives off just an evil aura about him.
Police will need more than a bad feeling to nail Paul Reid for the fast food murders.
And when you guys, I try to really be a little bit more open and communicative with y'all, because I really want y'all to see the whole picture. I really want y'all to know the whole story.
Nashville holds its breath as investigators try to tie a 39-year-old Texas parolee to the murders of 7 people at local fast food restaurants. First, the fingerprint found on the video rental card belonging to Captain D's manager, Steve Hampton, matches Paul Reid.
It's jubilation. You've been working on this every single day, 7 days a week, just constantly trying to figure out who did this to these victims. And then you finally get that hit.
Next, Detective Postiglione calls in Jose Gonzalez, the lone survivor of the McDonald's murders.
He was able to make a positive ID. That's the person who came into McDonald's and did this.
Finally, a search of Reid's home turns up damning evidence in the Baskin-Robbins killings.
We were able to locate blood from both victims in Clarksville on one pair of shoes. So that pretty much connected him to Clarksville as well. So he was connected to all 3.
Pat called and he said, "We got him." I just very happy.
Photos found at Reid's home paint a picture of a man with delusions of grandeur. He had plastic surgery to improve his looks, but he couldn't do anything about his eyes.
His eyes are just dead to me. When you see a great white shark with his eyes, you know, it's kind of the same look.
He moved to Nashville to be a country music star and even had a demo.
He's damaged in some way. God knows as he's self-deluded. There are a lot of bad demo tapes, you know, that have been made, but this one was just incredible. You think, how could this guy think that he was a singer?
Paul Reid is charged with 7 murders. As the trial opens, Reid pleads not guilty. The prosecution outlines Reid's sadistic rampage beginning on February 16, 1997, the day after he was fired from his job at Shoney's.
He convinced the person at Captain D's to open the door just so I can give you this job application. He was very disarming.
think he learned his lesson not to leave witnesses alive when he did his armed robbery and went to prison in Texas.
5 weeks later, he hits McDonald's.
Stepped out of the shadows with a gun. It's gonna be okay. Let's go back inside the restaurant. I'm just gonna rob everybody and I'll be gone. He was able to convince you that he was not gonna hurt you. And then as soon as you gave in, you were dead. He lost control totally. I think eventually he began to enjoy the killing more so than he did the robbery.
By the time he enters the Baskin-Robbins a month later, Michelle Mays and Angela Holmes don't stand a chance.
One of the victim's brother was coming to pick him up. She may have said something. Got them to go out into his car, and he drove them to Dunbar Cave.
Both girls were being walked down the path to a very dark, secluded area. Michelle knew a friend in the area, in an adjacent neighborhood, and I really believe that she thought if I can run, I can make it to my friend's house and I'll be okay. I think when she tried that, that's when Angela was killed and pushed into the water. Michelle was chased down and killed in the woods.
In separate trials, Paul Reid is found guilty of all 7 murders.
You have been found guilty of first-degree premeditated murder in counts 1, 2, and 3.
And sentenced to die by lethal injection. He shows no emotion. Reid is still on death row, still appealing, still singing the song of an innocent man wrongly convicted.
I did not commit these nefarious homicides. Now, you can believe otherwise. You can believe with the district attorney. But I did not commit these nefarious homicides.
Whether Reid is ever executed, 7 families are left without their child. Nothing is ever over for them.
Steve Hampton was my son. He was the only child I could ever have. I raised him totally by myself, so he was my heart. He was my life. He was what I lived for. He was what I worked for.
You never have closure. I mean, it's always there. Our child will always be gone on this earth. We will never see her again here. And we have to get used to that. We have to know that. We do know that we're going to see her again. She's just living in a much better place than we are, that's for sure. And that's how we get through it.
She's complete. She's back home where she started, and she's complete. And I just kind of leave it there.
This was in her backpack. Pat gave it to me. I've worn it ever since. I think of all she missed. You know, she didn't get to go to her junior prom. She didn't graduate from high school, college, get married, have children. And I miss that for her.
You never get over these cases. Sometimes you do what you can to try to limit your emotions, but when you're dealing with victims like 15 years later,